He had so much money that he burned it. $2 million. Burned in one cold night, just to keep his daughter warm. This man made more money than almost anyone alive. But he was not a businessman. He was the most wanted criminal in the world. Police hunted him. Governments feared him. And millions of poor people loved him. How can one man be a killer and a hero at the same time? Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you will see how the richest criminal in history dies running on a roof, completely alone. But first, you need to understand how it all began. This is the story of the man they called the King of Cocaine. Let's go back in time to Colombia in the 1950s. A boy is born near the city of Medellin. His name is Pablo Emilio Escobar. His family is not rich. They are poor. His mother is a teacher. His father grows food on a small farm. When Pablo is young, there is a lot of violence in Colombia. Poor people have almost nothing. Rich people have everything. And little Pablo watches. He watches and he thinks. One day, he tells his friends something they never forget. He says, "I want to be rich, very rich, and I will not stop until I am." This is Pablo. Big dreams, no fear, no limits. But Pablo does not want to wait. He does not want to work slowly for 40 years. He wants money now, so he starts small, very small. People say that as a teenager he steals cars. Then he steals gravestones, cleans them and sells them again. Then he sells fake lottery tickets. He is young, he is clever, but these small crimes give him small money. And small money is not enough for a boy with such big dreams. He tries many things. He sells cigarettes on the street. He works small jobs. But always in his mind, there is one question. How can I become rich? Really rich? He does not know it yet, but the answer is coming. And it will make him richer than he ever imagined, and it will destroy everything in the end. Then, in the 1970s, the world changes. A new product appears, a white powder from the jungle, cocaine. In the United States, rich people will pay a lot of money for it, a lot of money. So Pablo sees his big chance. Other men are afraid. This business is dangerous. The police can catch you. You can go to prison. You can die. But Pablo is not afraid. While other men feel fear, Pablo feels opportunity. He builds a system, a huge system. He buys the powder cheap in the jungle. Then he moves it, secretly, all the way to America. At first, he uses small planes, then bigger planes, then boats. Then he hides the cocaine inside cars, inside fruit, inside anything. There is a famous story. On one of his first trips, Pablo hides the cocaine inside the tires of an old plane. That single trip makes him a lot of money. So he buys more planes, and more. Soon, he has a fleet of planes flying to America again and again. Pablo is not alone in this. He brings together the most powerful criminals of our city. Together they form one big dangerous family. The world will call them the Medellin Cartel. And Pablo is their leader, their king. And the money starts to come back, but not a small river of money, an ocean. Let me give you a number. At his best moment, people say Pablo earns $60 million in a single day. Not a year, not a month. One day. Think about that. He has so much cash that he cannot count it. He cannot even keep it. He hides it inside walls. He buries it under farms. He fills entire rooms with dollars. The problem is so big that rats come and eat the money. Mice destroy millions of dollars. And his workers spend $10,000 every month just on rubber bands to hold the cash together. So now Pablo is not just rich. He is one of the richest men on the entire planet. Some lists say he is the 7th richest man in the world. A poor boy from Medellin, now richer than almost anyone alive. But what do you do with that much money? What Pablo builds next is almost impossible to believe. With all this money, Pablo builds his dream. A giant estate called Hacienda Nápoles. It is enormous, 20 square kilometers of land. That is bigger than some cities. And inside, Pablo builds his own world. He builds his own zoo, a real zoo, with more than 1,000 animals. He brings elephants, he brings giraffes, he brings exotic birds from faraway countries, and he brings 4 hippos from Africa. For his son, he builds giant dinosaurs made of concrete. Above the front gate, he puts a small airplane, the same kind of plane that carried his first cocaine to America, like a trophy. And here is the strange part. Pablo opens his zoo to the public, for free. Buses full of poor children come to see the animals. To them, Pablo is magic, a man who built a paradise. Now listen to this, because it is hard to believe. Years later, after Pablo dies, the zoo is abandoned. Most animals are moved away, but the hippos stay, and they have babies, and more babies. Today, there are almost 200 wild hippos living in the rivers of Colombia. Even now, more than 30 years later, the country is still fighting this problem. That is how big Pablo's world was. He left a mark that did not disappear with him. But money was not enough for Pablo. He wanted something more dangerous. He wanted to be loved. And then he wanted power. Here comes the part that is hard to understand. Pablo does not hide all his money. He gives a lot of it away. He goes into the poorest neighborhoods of Medellin. He sees families with no homes, children with no shoes, people living in garbage. So Pablo builds them houses, real houses. He builds schools. He builds hospitals. He builds football fields with lights so children can play at night and the poor people cry with happiness. To them, Pablo is not a criminal. He is a savior. He is a hero. They call him Don Pablo. Some people even pray for him. So Pablo starts to dream of something new. Power. Real power. He wants to be a politician. He enters the Colombian government in 1982. He smiles for the cameras. He wears nice clothes. He waves to the crowd. But behind the smile, there's blood, because there are 2 sides to Pablo Escobar. With one hand, he gives houses to the poor. With the other hand, he gives death to his enemies. Anyone who says no to Pablo disappears. Police officers, judges, reporters, politicians, even his own friends if he stops trusting them. He creates a famous and terrible rule. 3 words, plata o plomo. In English, silver or lead. It means, take my money and obey me, or take my bullet and die. But who does the killing for Pablo? This is one of the saddest parts of the story. Pablo looks at the poor neighborhoods, the same neighborhoods where children once called him a hero. And there, he finds his soldiers. They are young boys. Some are only 14 or 15 years old. Boys with no money, no future, and big dreams, just like Pablo once was. He offers them money. He offers them motorcycles. He offers them something even more dangerous. He offers them respect. To be somebody. To be feared. So these boys do terrible things for him, and many of them die very young on these same streets where they were born. Pablo gave houses to the poor with one hand, but with the other hand, he took their children. That was the real price of being loved by Don Pablo. So all of Colombia lives in fear. Imagine a country where the richest man is also the most dangerous man. where one person is stronger than the police, stronger than the judges, almost stronger than the government itself. That was Colombia, and Pablo was the king. But every king has enemies, and Pablo was about to make the most powerful enemy of all. Pablo's dream of being a politician does not last. People begin to ask questions. Where does his money come from? Soon everyone knows the truth. He is not a businessman. He is a drug lord. A brave minister of justice stands up against him. His name is Rodrigo Lara. He tells the country the truth about Pablo. Pablo does not forgive this. In 1984, he sends men to kill the minister. They shoot him on the street. And this is the moment everything changes. Now it is war. Pablo against the government. Pablo against Colombia itself. But there is one thing Pablo is truly afraid of. Only one. He is not afraid of prison in Colombia. He is afraid of one word: extradition. It means being sent to the United States, to an American prison, far from his money and his power. Pablo fears this more than death. He says a famous sentence. He says, "I would rather have a grave in Colombia than a jail in the United States." So he makes a terrible decision. He will fight the whole country to stop this one thing. What follows are some of the darkest years in the country's history. Bombs explode in the streets. Pablo offers money for every dead police officer. Judges are killed. Reporters are killed. Anyone who fights him is in danger. He even begins to kidnap important people, famous reporters, the children of politicians. He takes them and he says to the government, "Stop the extradition, or these people will die." There is one man who is not afraid of Pablo. His name is Luis Carlos Galán. Galán wants to be the president of Colombia, and he promises the people one thing. He will stop the drug lords. He will send Pablo to the United States. He will end the fear. The people love him. Thousands come to hear him speak. For the first time, Colombia feels hope. But Pablo is listening, and Pablo does not forgive hope. In August 1989, Galán stands on a stage in front of a huge crowd. He smiles. He waves. He is ready to speak. And then the shots come. In front of thousands of people, the man who promised to save Colombia falls. The country watches it happen. The dream of a better future dies on that stage with him. And now everyone understands. No one is safe, not even a man who could be president. If Pablo can reach him, he can reach anyone. And then comes the worst moment of all. In 1989, a bomb is placed on an airplane, a passenger plane full of normal people. It explodes in the sky. More than 100 innocent people die. Pablo has crossed a terrible line. The whole world is now watching, and the whole world wants him stopped. But stopping Pablo Escobar will be harder than anyone imagines. But Pablo does not only fight the government. He also has a powerful enemy in the world of crime. In another city, far from Medellin, there is a second group, another cartel. They come from a city called Cali. People call them the Cali cartel. For years, the two groups share the business. Medellin controls some cities in America. Cali controls others. There is enough money for everyone. But Pablo wants everything, and Cali will not bow to him. So a new war begins. But this time, it is not Pablo against the police. It is criminal against criminal. Cartel against cartel. Bombs explode. Men disappear on both sides. The streets of Colombia fill with blood that has nothing to do with the government. And here is the important part. The Cali cartel is patient. They are quiet. They do not act like kings. While Pablo makes noise and war, Kali watches and waits because they know something Pablo does not want to believe. They know that a man with too many enemies cannot win forever, and soon they will help to bring him down in a way Pablo never expects. Here is a truth about power. Every empire, no matter how big, falls one day. And Pablo's empire begins to crack. The country is tired. The United States is angry. They want Pablo, dead or alive. So the government makes a deal with him. A strange deal. Pablo agrees to go to prison, but not a normal prison. He builds his own prison. He calls it La Catedral. And this is not really a prison. It has a football field, a bar, a jacuzzi, beautiful views of the mountains. His friends visit him. He still controls his business from inside. He is a prisoner, but lives like a king. But when the government learns the truth, they decide to move him to a real prison. So Pablo does something incredible. He simply walks out. He escapes. And now he is free again. But this time, everything is different, because now everyone is hunting him. The government creates a special police group. Their only job is to find Pablo. They are called the Search Block. The United States helps them with technology and money. They listen to every phone call. They watch every street. But the police are not Pablo's only enemy now. Something new happens, something terrible for him. His victims come together. All the people Pablo hurt over the years, his enemies, the families who lost someone, even his old criminal partners. With secret money from the Cali cartel, they form a group. They call themselves Los Pepes. It means people persecuted by Pablo Escobar. And they fight Pablo with his own weapons. They burn his houses. They destroy his property. They hunt the people who work for him. For every bomb Pablo sets, they answer back. Slowly, one by one, they take his world apart. The richest man in Colombia now runs from house to house. He cannot sleep in the same place twice. He cannot trust anyone. He moves in the dark, always afraid, always tired. He is so afraid that he tries to send his family out of the country. He buys many plane tickets to confuse the police. He tries to send them to America. They are refused. He tries to send them to Germany. But the police are waiting, and his family is sent back to Colombia. This breaks Pablo. He cannot protect the people he loves. The man who had everything now cannot keep his own family safe. For 16 months, he runs. But he makes one small mistake. He talks too long on the telephone with his son. And the police are listening. On December 2nd, 1993, just one day after his 44th birthday, they find him. He is hiding in a normal house in a quiet neighborhood of Medellin. The police surround the house. Pablo runs. He climbs onto the roof. He tries to escape across the rooftops like so many times before. But this time, there is nowhere left to run. And there, on that roof, under the sky of the city he once ruled, the king of cocaine dies. The richest criminal in history dies with no kingdom, no friends, and no peace. Running. Alone. So that was the end of Pablo Escobar, the richest criminal the world has ever seen. A man who had planes, mansions, even his own zoo with elephants and giraffes in the garden. A man who could buy anything and anyone. But in the end, he died running across a roof, alone, with no friends left and nowhere to hide. The poor boy who dreamed of being rich got his dream, every dollar of it, and it still wasn't enough to save him. And you, learning English right now, you are chasing a dream too, a better one, a dream that no one can ever take away from you. So tell me, was Pablo a villain or just a boy with a dangerous dream? I read every comment. See you in the next story.